Alright dudes, what's happening? So I released a video the other day called Watch This Before You Buy a Cargo Trailer to Convert into a Tiny Home. I think it was called something like that. And I got a lot of the same question, which is why didn't you just buy an RV or buy a travel trailer or something like that? So I wanted to answer that. It's very complicated because there's a lot of different parts to it, which is why I'm getting tired of typing in response all the time. So I figured I'd just make a video. I figured maybe if somebody's in the same situation, should I just buy a pre-made toy hauler or should I just buy a cargo trailer and convert it? So I'm going to try to answer that the best I can. This is going to be a rant. This is going to be a ramble. This is not organized. So I'm just going to let it slide or let it go or flow or whatever you want to call it. Ooh, these are good. I didn't realize I still had these. So the first reason is that RVs are put together like just garbage. They're just thrown together. I'll put some links in the description down below that are to some short videos that show like a tour of the building process. There's one by Jayco which shows, you know, how they put this thing together from just a bare frame to complete in like 7 hours, and they pump out I think 20 or 30 of them a day. It's amazing. The video gives me anxiety, so if you got anxiety problems, like drink some chamomile tea first or something, because they're racing around just throwing these things together. They're working their asses off, but they're just throwing these things together as fast as they can. It's crazy. They all look like they're on crack or something. They're just running around like crazy. So that's the first reason. The quality is just garbage. You're constantly gonna have to maintain that thing and fix things, and you're inevitably gonna get a ton of leaks and all kinds of problems, electrical problems, plumbing problems, all kinds of problems, especially with the cheap ones. There are companies who make really nice RVs who are really well put together, but you're gonna pay for that, and those are way out of our budget. I'm talking about the standard run-of-the-mill RV, not nice ones. Those are way out of our budget. So that's the first reason. They're just garbage. And the second reason is cost. To get, you know, as I said, the really nice ones are way out of our budget, and even the junky cheap ones. And if you can get like an old like 80s or 90s or older one, even 2000s now, which is actually a long time ago now too, you can get those pretty cheap. You know, you can get down like $5,000 or less, but they're gonna need a lot of catch-up maintenance. They're gonna need a lot of stuff. Most likely in Oregon around here, they've got some mold issues, which is going to make me sick for a long time. I'm very sensitive to mold, and it makes me very sick. So that's a big problem. They're going to need a lot of work and constantly need work, and they're junk. And the third reason is when you put something together, you put your blood and sweat into this thing, and you do your best to make it as nice as possible. You build an emotional attachment to it, and there's a certain feeling when you go into it and you go to lay down. It feels like you're home. It feels like you're resting. When I go into, you know, an RV, I don't get that feeling, and maybe I'm just weird and whatever, but that's who I am, and that's how I work, and that's the way it is for me. So I don't want to feel like I'm just in this junky RV, living in this junky RV. Even if it looks nice, it's gonna feel like junk. I've been to several RV shows, I've been to several dealerships and looked around at these things because I was curious about them. And I don't think I could ever feel at home in one. It needs to be something that I had a big part in putting together. Even if I wasn't the one that built all of it out, I made the decisions and I picked the things out, or Evie and I picked the things out is a better way to put it. So that's a big part of it too. I want it to feel like home, and we want something that's going to last at least 10 years. We want something that if we kept up on maintenance and you know, we took good care of it, it could last us the rest of our lives. We all know that it's not gonna. You know, 5, 10, 20 years down the road, we're gonna want something else. We might even move to Thailand or something. Who knows, man? It's not gonna last us a lifetime. But if we build it with the mindset of we want this thing to last potentially the rest of our lives, if, you know, global warming hits hard in 10 years and all the coastal cities disappear, they get swallowed up by the ocean, and housing is out of the question and the economy collapses and something, we've got a safe place that could last us until things get figured out or whatever. I'm not saying those things are gonna happen, but they could. And having that little bit of security of we've got our home that's going to last, that's not going to be an issue, is a nice thing to have. So that's a big part of it too. The next part is we've already got this van that's built out. So we don't want to sell it. We just built this thing a year ago, and it just hit 100,000 miles. It runs fantastic. It's in good shape. We did all the upgrades. Everything's taken care of, and it's a great van, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And if we sold it, we'd sell it at a loss. Or Evie would sell it at a loss because she bought the van and she paid for it, and it's her van, and she does not want to do that, and I do not blame her. And if we just bought a travel trailer, then we could rip everything out of here and put the bikes in here, which is what we plan to do with that one now. But it's going to need all this maintenance and catch-up work and all this stuff, and it just would suck, The same reasons I explained a few minutes ago. So that's not going to work. We could get a toy hauler. We could get a cheap toy hauler. Same thing. It's going to need a bunch of catch-up work. It's going to be a piece of crap that doesn't feel like home. Those ones are, toy haulers, unless you get a really nice one, are especially unhomey. They're very, you fold down the benches and you're in this big open, it just doesn't feel good, man. It doesn't feel like home. I want to feel home. I want to feel like I'm home, And, it's kind of the same thing. Like, would you rather live in one of the new, like, housing development houses where they've got, like, 5 models and, you look down the street and you can see every 5 houses is the same exact house and the other ones are just slightly different? They're like, everything's reversed, or they have, the bathrooms in a different spot or something so that it has a bigger bedroom somewhere or something. Like, would you rather live in that, or would you rather live in like a 19th century hand-built house that was put together with pride and craftsmanship that has its own personality and its own like energy to it, man? When you build something, you're giving it a life almost. You're giving it a personality and a vibe and a feeling, and you're creating a feeling. And I don't want to feel like I'm in a goddamn factory. I want to feel like I'm in a home that has its own like vibe to it, that probably doesn't make sense to a lot of people because I don't know. It makes sense to me though, so that's what I'm doing. It's my life, and I'm going to live my own life and do my own thing, and that's what I have chosen. That's what Evie has chosen with me. So that's how it's going to be. So what else we got? Price to get a decent, and it's still going to be garbage travel trailer. We got to spend like at least like $15,000, and that is. It's still going to be a piece of crap. So let's say we get a $15,000 newer travel trailer that's been kept up. It's still in good shape. The person who had it took good care of it, and it's decent. It's 5 years old or something. We got that trailer for $7,000. It's probably going to cost, I'm imagining, about $5,000 to build out. I've built out my Astro 3 or 4 times. We built out this van for about $1,000. And we did pretty good. I can't see us. $5,000 seems like a ridiculous amount of money to spend on a build. So that's like the maximum we would spend. I can't imagine spending more than that. I'm not including the solar system and stuff like that. If we get anything else, we have to buy that anyway, so I'm not including that. But the basic, structure, the shower, the water tanks, the wiring, the wood, the paint, the insulation, all that stuff, $5,000 is like the absolute max. So we're at $12,000 for something that is put together with pride and blood, sweat, and tears, exactly the way we want it. It looks exactly the way we want it to. It's built strong with quality components and put together with attention to detail and slowly put together to make everything just right, not just slopped together with a nail gun and glue that's just slopped together. Why the hell would we spend, more money to get something that's a piece of shit? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. And yes, that's just the way we're gonna do it, man. We're gonna build that thing out. We're gonna do the shower and the bath. Well, first we're gonna do the insulation and the paneling and the walls and all that. And then we're gonna put in the bathroom and the toilet, and so we can still store our bikes in there and have that. That was our original plan with the trailer, was to just do that. And then we realized, all the other downsides with getting a schoolie or a box truck or whatever. So we decided to just get a bigger trailer, so we built that out to our living space and use this to haul the motorcycles. So once the bathroom and everything's in there, then we can just move our bed in there and, move the bikes in here. And slowly finish building it out. We'd probably put in the side cabinets and stuff too. Anyway, those are the main reasons. It's just RVs are junk. They're garbage. Go look at those links. Go watch those tour videos I'm talking about. You'll be amazed. They're junk. They don't feel like home. They feel like just junk. They're expensive. They're expensive to upkeep because they have more complicated systems. We don't need a furnace. We want a fireplace. There's all these other plumbing. We don't need a black tank. We don't want a black tank. We're gonna have to remove that. We want a compost toilet, and you know, all these other things. They're expensive. They're expensive to upkeep. They're junk. The resale value is very low. If we build that thing out the way I want to, it'll be worth more than we bought it for, because it will be complete and will be put together and it will be absolutely beautiful. When people walk in that thing, they will shit their pants. They will be so amazed at how beautiful it is and how nice it is. And that's the vision I have in my head. And I know that nobody else in the entire world can see the same vision I have in my head. And it's gonna take forever to build this thing out, but once I do, you guys will understand. So I guess that's that. Yeah, not much else I could say. I'm getting lost in thought about it. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Love yourself.